a caution in Romans 16, verse 17 and 18. Please just follow me briefly. He said, "Not to them that cause that cause division, that cause trouble around you, and have nothing to do with them." Now, on that premise, that means the Bible expects you to note some people. Who is the person that keeps disappointing you? You invest in them, they disappoint you. You do not invest in them, they disappoint you. You stand for them, they disappoint you. You don't stand for them, they disappoint you. In fact, they're almost wrecking you. Do you know why? Because you've opened a door to this person. And all this person carries into your life is disappointment. I want you to understand that disappointment, like I said, can come from human, one, and if it is from a particular person, continually note the person and avoid the person. Don't say, I'm in love. Love is good. But even love, love itself is trustworthy. Love is faithful. So when somebody keeps disappointing, and you think it's going to work out, if you're hearing me, just say, I think that's the spiritual language. You can interpret it yourself. Then we now have a case where disappointment can be spiritually engineered from demons that hate you. It could be projected or programmed into people's life through people who hate them or through people who know. Now, let me tell you how this one works. When the devil himself is behind disappointment, or when there's a demon, usually, is it like the British will say, usually, English, usually what will happen is that they will wait at the point of a mega expectation, at the point of a monumental expectation for your company, especially. And maybe because you think business is only run with intellect and you don't understand the spiritual dimension of business. So the enemy will wait and look at this company of yours, this contract you want to get, this new appointment you're vying for. Other little things that don't really make much sense like that don't really carry much weight. They will allow you to pass through those ones. But the major effort of your life, the major contract of your life, the major company you started, the time it is meant to change your life, the enemy will make sure at that point, that is when the disappointment will come. You've been getting contracts of little millions, no problem. Business as usual. But the destiny of your business is meant to go global. The destiny of your ministry is meant to be very powerful. On the day that door is meant to be open, on the day that meeting is meant to happen, the enemy will project spirits of disappointment heavily. And it will block that major encounter. And once it does not happen, he knows that it will set such a person backward. And I submit to you, there are a lot of people listening to me this morning are discouraged, sad. Some even despair of life. Because disappointment is a terrible spirit. And that way you will know that disappointment is projected demonically now is when you see disappointment everywhere, all over the place. That is when people that know you disappoint you, people that don't know you disappoint you, then you know you have to look into it. Please listen to me very carefully. My text actually is in the book of Luke chapter 10 from verse 30. And you know the story. He said, Jesus taking him up replied, "A certain man was going from Jerusalem down to Jericho, and he fell among robbers, who stripped him of his clothes and belongings and beat him and went their way, unconcernedly leaving him half dead. as it happened. Now, by coincidence, a certain priest was going down along that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. A Levite likewise came down to the place and saw him, and passed on the other side of the road. But a certain Samaritan, as he traveled along, came down to where he was, and when he saw him, he was moved with pity, sympathy for him, and went to him and dressed his wound, pouring on them oil and wine. Then he set him on his own beast and brought him to an inn and took care of him. And the next day he took out 2 denarii, 2 days' wages, and gave them to the innkeeper, saying, Take care of him, and whatever more you spend, I myself will repay you when I return. Which of these 3 do you think proved himself a neighbor to him who fell among robbers? He answered, The one who showed pity and mercy to him. And Jesus said to him, Go do likewise. Now, I want you to look at this very first sentence. Jesus, taking him up, replied, A certain man was going from Jerusalem to Jericho. Now, there's a man, that road of Jerusalem to Jericho is a very, very important road. In those days, it's a road for heavy business men, people coming for pilgrimage, military. And it's such a bad road. If I can remember my geography, I know that Jerusalem is 3,000 feet, yes, above sea level. Whilst I think Jericho is about 1,000 feet below sea level. But that's for geography now. But the most important is that road is very important. So now look at this man's plan is, I'm going from Jerusalem to Jericho. He had goods, maybe he was going for business. I want you to look at how the devil opens the door of disappointment into people's life. Now, I want you to picture this man going, what if he was coming? Let's go personal, to pay your rent. What if you've been praying for a husband, you found one, and he was coming on his way for the marriage? What if they took the journey to come and pay some school fees, international school fees? What if he took the journey for the meeting to make the business global? Please, I want you to understand what I'm trying to say. Now, the robbers, and this is a symbol of the enemy, because John 10:10 tells us that the thief cometh not but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Now, robbers waylaid him. So the enemy knew that this man is going to help some people's business, some people's life. He's a husband to somebody. He's coming to fulfill destiny. But he waylaid him on the road. So the question now is that, did the man get to where he was going to know? So now, if he was bringing money to take the business global, if he was coming to pay school fees, to pay rent, to get married, now imagine these people that were waiting for this man. The enemy shut the door so that there will be disappointment in their life. This is a prayer you really need to take very seriously. You know, we started with it on Thursday, and a lot of people joined. And I know some of you have been hearing me talk about recovery video, but sleep is still holding you. Then when you see disappointment, some people start backsliding. So the enemy makes sure he stays at the door of people's divine helpers. I told you during the course of this message this month that there's what we call path. Every human being has a path that leads to them. There's a general path, but there's a personal path. And I told you that the only reason John the Baptist came, or the major reason, was not to baptize. Nope. Was not even to introduce Jesus. That is, all those were added. But he said, when they asked him in St. John chapter 1 verse 23, they said, are you Elijah? I said, no. Are you Jesus? No. He said, I am the voice of one crying in the desert. Clear the path of the Lord. Make straight the way of the Lord in the desert. So there is a path that even when God came in the flesh, he needed somebody, a prophet, to dedicate his life to clearing that path. Like I said, if the path to someone is blocked, no matter the blessing coming from the realm of the spirit, it will never get to the person. So this is what the enemy is after. That is when Jesus died. If you know your Bible, the psalmist saw a vision of what transpired, because when Jesus died on the cross, his soul went down to hell, to the grave, to go and take the key of life and death from the devil. And on the way there, in Psalm 24 from verse 6, he encountered gatekeepers, doorkeepers, that didn't want him to enter into hell and take the key of salvation, so that salvation will be completed. So when he got to the door, they said to him, he said, lift up your head, O ye gate, be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors. Let the King of glory come in. the enemy asks him, who is this King of glory? That on this path you're coming, we are going to block you. Yes, you've suffered. As if that's not enough, we're not going to let you complete this, your salvation journey. So they blocked his path into Sheol. He now had to challenge them again. Because he said, who is this king of glory? He said, the Lord. He said, the Lord Almighty. They asked him again. They declared the word again. Lift up your heads, O ye gate. Be ye lifted up, O ye everlasting doors. I want to say to you that if you're experiencing challenges, you're experiencing blockages, the reason is because you're giving up too soon. The second time is, they said, who is this King of glory again? He now declared himself the Lord of heaven's host, Jehovah Sabaoth, the Lord of heaven's army. Meaning now I'm going to clear this path with war. Do you know the path leading to you? This is why I mentioned the path. The path leading to you is unique to you. If it is blocked, every other path will disappoint you. Every other path will lead to disappointment. You know why? Because there's one path that leads to everybody. So what the enemy does, like this man taking a journey, is to stop, rob him, kill him. Care is not taking, they thought he was dead. Stripped him of everything. So the people he was going to meet to help, like I said earlier, he will never go and meet them. Then nobody else will be able to help them. That equals to disappointment. So because of disappointment, some people did not travel to get a higher education. Because of disappointment, some people could not finish as intelligent as they were. They couldn't even get into school. Because of disappointment, a lot of people are stranded maritally. Men, women. Because of disappointment, a lot of companies remained until they went down. Because of disappointment. Terrible spirit. Because the enemy will just stay and block that path leading to the child of God, to a child of destiny. So other paths are open, and every other path don't belong to us. No. You must locate that path and you must clear it. Do you know some people disappoint people not because they are wicked? They are not the ones sent to you. For example, how can Joseph dream and dream and dream inside his father's house, a dream that was glorious? The attack came from his family, from among his siblings. You need to know that, yes, you're really under serious attack when your own siblings hate you so much because of your dream and your vision. And they wanted to kill him. He brought a death wish. This dream brought him a death wish. The next day, Reuben saved him, threw him into a pit without water. The same dream caused him to become a slave. They sold him to Ishmaelite. This same dream, the Ishmaelites sold him to be a house help. The woman lied against him. You know the story. The next thing, he ended in prison. Just because of a dream. Now, the same dream he interpreted for the butler and for the baker. He begged them, when you come out, remember me. The man did not remember him for 2 years. But this same dream, when he got to the right path, because the path to his destiny had to follow, was in Egypt. He had to follow through the desert, through different things to Egypt. He had to follow through hatred of his brothers. He had to follow through the pit, through being a slave, through being a house help, through prison. That's a funny part. But because God was with him, and he was always crying unto God, this same dream that brought him all this nonsense brought him presidential recommendation. The butler recommended him because that is the path to his destiny. And the enemy tried to block it, but no, God kept moving him. Then when he came before Pharaoh, the same dream and interpretation that wished him death, wished him slavery, that didn't seem as anything, made him a prime minister. I don't know who I'm talking to this morning. Maybe there are disappointment all over your life. Why? Because the enemy has blocked the real path and you are now looking for every other path. That's what makes people settle down for less. That's what turns women to harlots that were not meant to be. That's what turns men to criminals. Heartbreaks everywhere. Great companies, great singers, disappointed. Because the path to their help has been blocked. Beloved, I want to give you an advice. We have, I think, is it 3 more days to the end of this month? And Lord, I should say to you, if you would take 3 days fasting and 3 midnight prayers, for those of you that miss our prayer vigil on Thursday, because I don't do emergency prayers. It's only on Thursdays that I really minister to people. In the next 3 days, if you're going to take up fasting for 3 days and wake up 12 midnight and attack the spirit of disappointment, you'll be shocked what will happen. Then God willing, you join us on Thursday for recovery vigil. I believe Thursday is going to be the 1st of August. Now, let me just give you this information because of my time. Like I always tell people, I don't do emergency prayers. I think some people understand it, some people still don't. Emergency prayers that you hear, as you're hearing this message, sir, I've gone through this, gone through that, please pray for me. I don't do that. It's on Thursdays that we organize recovery vigil. Now, this recovery vigil is an interdenominational and an international vigil. So people connect from all over the world. And there's a Zoom app. You can connect via the Zoom. There's an online radio that carries it, and there's the Facebook Live that's just been added because people were asking. So it's usually every Thursday night, 12 midnight to 2 a.m. So we intercede and we pray. Why midnight? Job 36:20 says, desire not the night, for that is when nations and human beings are cut off from their divine placing. Jesus talking about the night in Matthew 13:25 says, a man had a wonderful field which represents his destiny, represents life. But because he slept anyhow, the enemy came and sowed tears. The night is very important. I know that night could be a time of spiritual inactivity, but the literal meaning there is midnight because the man slept. Before you now go into the secondary meaning, it could be spiritual inactivity and the rest. So the night is very crucial. So it's every Thursday, and you may ask me, how can you join? I'm going to give you these 2 numbers. Now, these 2 numbers are my personal WhatsApp numbers. So I answer them personally. So please, with all due respect, with all due humility, just please respect them. You understand? So these are the numbers. They are my WhatsApp numbers. You want to be part of the vigil on Thursday, you want me to send you the link. Now, the link contains my time on radio. For those of you that want to know my time on radio, it contains my ebook, 7 Types of Marriage, 15 Truths About Your Star, and every other thing you need to know. Just a short link. So I'm going to give you this number. Just say hi to me. They're my WhatsApp number on WhatsApp, and I will send the link to you. So these are the numbers: 080 28 355 631. I repeat it: 080 28 355 631 or 070 31 31 5318. I'll repeat it: 070 31 31 5318. So now say hi to me on those numbers. I will pick once I leave the studio because my time is almost up. Say hi to me on those numbers on WhatsApp and I will send you the link. But before then, like I said, there's a lady I'm looking at, you're fair, you've been crying. You just heard me, you heard me for the first time. I can pick you in the spirit. You've been crying. The disappointment was monumental. It was you had a very bad disappointment. You're just listening to me. The Lord said I should say to you, stop crying. Stop crying. He said he has seen your tears. You are, oh my God, the disappointment was bad. Like it was embarrassing. And God said I should say to you, do not contemplate suicide. I don't know who else I'm talking, but he's telling me, tell this my daughter, do not contemplate suicide because of disappointment. So beloved, please, you've been listening to Recovery Hour. And the station is Voice of the People 90.3 FM. And I'm your host, Pastor Bankanthony. So you want to get this message and other message, just go to YouTube, type in Recovery Hour on Voice of the People 90.3 FM with Pastor Bankanthony. You will get this message and other messages. Please, this solution, like I said, we dealt with it, started dealing with it last week Thursday. For those of you that did not join or that even joined, the Lord is saying to me, I should say to you, you know, I really say this. The remaining 3 days in this month, I beg you, before we meet again Thursday night for recovery video, fast for 3 days and wake up midnight and scatter the spirit of disappointment. Because if the enemy stops the man going from Jerusalem to Jericho, whatever people is going to meet, whatever thing he want to do for them, the people waiting will be disappointed. Imagine the people waiting, the business partners. I repeat, the people whose salary is going to pay, the woman whom he's going to marry, the school fees is going to pay, the people is meant to take abroad. I just saw somebody, you are into sports, you're a footballer, you just raise your 2 hands up. Because the person that promised to come take you abroad for trial disappointed you. And the Lord said, I should say to you, it is your fault. Because something told you to pray, but you think your skill is enough. My dear, your skill is not enough. In the next 3 days, humble yourself. If disappointment has almost scattered your life, everything, the family, fast for the next 3 days. Wake up midnight and pray. Now send me a text if you're going to do this fast. I will help you. I will pray with you. But I will know if you're fasting or if you're not. And I'll give you an appointment, which I really do, for the next 3 days midnight until we meet on Thursday. So remember, this has been Recovery Hour, and the station is Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. I'm your humble host, Pastor Bankanthony. Jesus said, it is finished. I love you loads. Let's pray and intercede for this nation. Until I come your way again, hopefully, God willing, by His mercy, on the 1st of August, that's Thursday. Stay blessed. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.